Hello again, it's me Chaz, back with some more halftime facts. 1934 World Cup, quarterfinals part 2. So now I'm going to mention the other 4 nations that managed to make the final 8 of the 1934 World Cup. Like the quarterfinal part 1 video, all 4 of these nations are making their World Cup debuts. We have Italy, who took on Spain in the quarterfinals, and Austria, who took on Hungary. Austria and Hungary are the first 2 nations to ever be in the same qualifying group and then play each other in the World Cup proper. Austria do withdraw out of the next World Cup after this in 1938 and in 1950. However, they do return to the World Cup in 1954, where they equal their best by reaching another semi-final, similar to what they done in 1934. Austria haven't reached the World Cup since the turn of this century. They are in Group H of the UEFA World Cup qualifying for 2026. Hungary themselves, they managed to reach the 1938 World Cup finals playing Italy. Unfortunately, they lost that game, and that was Italy's second World Cup. Then they played West Germany in the 1954 finals, and though they defeated them by a record defeat for Germany 8-3 in the finals, they wasn't able to defeat Germany then. The 1954 Hungary team have the best goal to game ratio out of any nation to ever compete at the World Cup, 5.4. Basically 5 goals every match they played at the 1954 World Cup. Similar to Austria, they also have failed to qualify for the World Cup in this century. Okay, going to move on to the other 2 nations, that's Italy and Spain. Italy and Spain do compete again for only the second time 60 years later in the quarterfinals in the USA in 1994, and this time around, unlike their first encounter in 1934, there wasn't a replay needed. Also in 1994, that would have went to penalties anyway. Italy got the best over Spain, defeated them, and 4 years prior to the 1994 World Cup, they did reach the semi-finals, where Italy did host for a second time. And let's move on to Spain quickly. And finally, Spain, the first time they hosted the World Cup was in 1982, and Italy was able to win the World Cup for a 3rd time. Spain would eventually win the World Cup. They won the World Cup in 2010, making them the first European nation to win the World Cup outside of European soil by defeating Netherlands in South Africa. And finally, one last thing about Spain. Spain do withdraw from the 1938 World Cup, which France hosted, and that was because Spain was in the middle of the Spanish Civil War, which I believe lasted for 3 years, I think from 1936 to 1939, and obviously for that reason they did withdraw from the 1938 World Cup. Alright, that was my quarterfinals 1934 part 2 World Cup halftime facts. Thanks for watching as usual, appreciate it, and bye. Sorry about that sound. So I decided to film here for some reason. Wow, it is what it is.